What's up, everyone? Hot Cocoa here, Colton Montgomery, Kona Panis. We're at one of our favorite places in the world in Ohio. Not going to share the specific location, but it's a private disc golf course called the Sanctuary, and yeah, it's one of our favorite places. So we want to bring you guys the first ever hot cocoa in the bag, something that we've never done, and a little fun turn on it in the bag. So yeah, we're gonna start off and take you through what's in hot cocos in the bag.
So right now, this isn't everything we usually have. We like to change it up every week depending on where we are. So right now, obviously, we're at the Sanctuary. So this is what we have in our bag for the Sanctuary. And just to start off, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Innova Discs, Infinite Discs, Bushnell, Pound Disc Golf, and Backstage Organics. They've been very supportive of myself and Colton's sponsors.
I'd like to thank Discmania, Grip Equipment, OTB Discs, and Backstage Organics. They've been a huge support to us. And then also, Kona and I are throwing a bunch of Lure discs. They've been a huge supporter of us this year, hooking us up with some really cool looking dies. So thanks to all you guys for making Kona and I's dream possible.
So to start off, we're just gonna start with our putters. So we both have, like Colton said, Lore has been supporting both of us this year, so we both have Lore dyed discs. I have my Glow D-Blend Alpacas. Infinite Discs actually specially made these for me this year. This was one of my other signature series discs other than my Emperor. It's kind of a deep dish putter with a flat top. I personally like it because it's very floaty, and with my putt it does not go very far. And the Glow plastic feels really good in my hand, and something about the Lore dye makes it feel even better.
You want to go through all your putters?
I thought we were just going to
Okay.
go like back
Okay.
and forth.
So my putting putters that I've got are Exo Hard Links. I've been putting with these for a couple years now, and come to find that I really like a putter with a bead. Anything that doesn't have a bead and my finger just sits there just feels really uncomfortable to me. And yeah, again, with the Lore die and my personal logo on the back, it gives me some added confidence on the putting green. So these are what I'm going to be putting with all year.
Moving forward, I'm going to go to my throwing putters. So I have 4 throwing putters. To start off, I have 2 Invaders. I have one in Nexus plastic, which is more of a grippy, more like your DX plastic. I really like the Invader because it has a small bead to it, and it's a very straight to stable disc. It doesn't flip over on me. It's very torque resistant, and that flat top feels very comfortable in my hand. I also have it in the Luster plastic, so more of a grippier plastic. I usually throw this one for upshots that I want to go straight with a tiny bit of fade, but like I said, very torque resistant, and I love the feel. And then my other 2 favorite putters, we actually talked about this recently. This is the disc I've had in my bag the longest, the Star AVR X3 with the Hot Cocoa stamp. We got these Hot Cocoa stamps back when we did our Hot Cocoa combos a few years ago. Hopefully one day we'll get back to doing those. Obviously COVID kind of put that to a stop, but AVR X3, very overstable putter. I use this for my go-to approach disc. Very overstable, very reliable, and I have it in, I have a newer edition. This is another AVR X3, a little bit lighter, a 171. All of my putters are going to be 175, but this one's more overstable, trusty in the wind.
For my throwing putters, I carry 5, and I carry 2 Links. Start with those. I carry a Lumen Soft with the Medusa. Really like this one. It's a little bit more firm than the regular softs, and definitely more overstable. So really liking that off the tee shot, or off the tee for this disc. Another Exo Soft Link. This one's super beat up, and you know, really good hyzer flip disc, or like short range. I feel like I have a lot of control over this one. And then moving into the tactics, I carry 2 Exo Soft tactics and 1 Lux tactic. One of the soft ones is pretty beat up and almost kind of just dead straight. It's not really overstable, so I don't have that much power on a forehand, so This is really good for those forehand up shots. And then again, I have a newer Exo soft tactic that's a little bit more overstable. And then recently I just added the Lux, and I'm just looking forward to this for like off the tee shot, something I can throw that won't get beat up so fast. And what I'm finding so far is this is like not that overstable, more like my super beat up Exo soft. So yeah, that's what I'm throwing for my throwing putters.
On to our mid-ranges. The wind is going to be a mess. I already know it.
Well,
Onto
we're
our,
already into it.
onto our mid-ranges. So I'm going to start with my Tour Series mid-ranges. I have 2 in the bag at this current moment. This one's been in my bag from the start. This was the very first Star Mako 3 that I put in the bag this year. Super beat in. I throw it on a little bit of a hyzer and she pops up, rides a little bit of right, but she still has a little bit stability. With this run of Mako 3s, they feel a little bit more overstable than in years past. So loving the durability. Shout out to Innova Disc for giving me this Mako 3 for my Tour Series this year. The amount of support I've been getting has been insane. And then also I have my newer Star Mako 3. This is brand new to the bag, nice green, bright. It's definitely more overstable than this one, so it'll go straight, and it has a nice fade at the end. I even threw a hole out here at the sanctuary where I put on a little bit of anhyzer, thought it was going to hold, ended up coming back at the end. So digging this run of Mako 3s. Other mid-ranges I have in the bag at this current moment would be, I don't throw a lot of mid-ranges, so I have my Rock X3. This is a straight to overstable disc. I can hit it hard and it pops up flat, but it has this crazy fade at the end that you wouldn't expect. So really like the Rock X3. The big bead has always been comfortable in the hand. I used to throw the KC Rock back in the day, kind of similar. The Champion Plastic feels good. And then I also have this USDGC edition, I believe is it a color glove? No, I think it's just a Champion Cayman. I really like this for overstable shots. I use it a lot for forehands. Oh, wait, pause. Sorry. At this current moment, I'm allowed to throw old Discmania molds, so I absolutely love my Glow MD3. Colton got me into these a few years ago. It is my go-to forehand straight disc. I can hit it hard on a hyzer, it pops up flat, and it just rides straight. I really love it. I don't know if I'll be able to throw these next year, but I'm going to use them while I can.
Going into my mid-ranges, like Kona said earlier, these are discs that aren't always in my bag. One that's not in here currently is the new C-Line MD3. I've really been liking it, but out here at the sanctuary, there's a lot of rough, and I don't want to lose that. So getting into it, I throw 5 methods. I love them. These are my favorite discs. A super beat up Exo hard, that's really good for like hyzer flip to turn over shots, and I can really power down on this and just have it go dead straight.
Wait, pause. And look how cool the lore disc die is. I love this one.
Yes.
Sorry.
Again, another lore discs, Exo hard method, a little bit newer to the bag, not as flippy, so kind of just like my dead straight one. And then shout out to Dustin Keegan. This is the newest one to the bag, pretty much brand new, and actually has a little bit turn left on it still. It's still that overstable. Then going into the Neo methods, more lore love. This is a primal run. It's been in the bag for a while, so it's actually getting fairly straight, but always kind of has that reliable left finish. And then I think one of my favorite dies ever done, another Neo method. This was originally a white disc. They spun dye the top, put their logo on top, and then the back has my own personal logo, pink. One of the few discs that says reward if returned. So yeah, loving this disc. Thank you, lore. And then recently added the Mutant to the bag. This thing is such a workhorse, such a beefcake, and it's just really overstable and just kind of wants to always find the ground. So a little bit more reliable than the MD5s that we had, and they don't go as far, but I never ever have to worry about this turning over. It's kind of like a more throwable tilt. So yeah, that's all that I'm throwing for my mid-ranges.
All right, moving on to our fairway drivers. These are my go-to fairway drivers. I usually actually have these in my bag 24/7. I absolutely love the Star Leopard 3. So I have a team stamp with the Sanctuary logo on it. I was actually throwing this here at the Sanctuary and it was going so straight. I was hitting it hard and they were just popping up, going straight, and it had a tiny bit of fade at the end. There's some woods out here that are absolutely tight and it was just hitting them straight, feeling good. So Leopard 3, if you're looking for a super neutral fairway driver that you can hit hard and rely on, the Leopard 3 is the best thing to go for. And if you have smaller hands like myself, feels really good in the hand. It has a smaller rim to it. And then I also have my Chain Slayer Edition Champion Leopard 3. I love this for, like, it's really straight. Sometimes it might go too straight for me, but it does have a little bit of fade at the end, more so than the Star version. And I absolutely love the Chain Slayer Edition because, I mean, it's just cute. And then my Star Sidewinder. This has been newer to the bag, but I was looking for something that went a little bit farther than my Leopard 3 and had a little bit more speed to it, because the Leopard 3, you know, is like a 7-speed, and then the Sidewinder's a little bit faster, so it does get that extra distance. It doesn't flip over on me too hard. I can trust it. It's almost like a little bit shorter Emperor for me without a huge fade. And then lastly, I have my Lourdes dyed T-Bird. This thing is beefy. I lost my go-to T-Bird. It was in the bag for like a year. It was beat to perfection. It was straight to stable, and it was very sad to lose it, but I'm glad I have this guy. It's super stable, so hopefully in the future it'll beat in and it'll be very reliable.
Myself, I'm not currently throwing a ton of fairway drivers. You know, if you follow me and know me, you know I love my PDs, and I feel very comfortable toning those down. So hence the reason I don't throw a ton of fairways. But to get into it, I'm bagging the Meta Instinct, which is more stable version of the Instinct, and I'm liking this just for like in the woods, something a little bit more glidey and shorter than a PD. So really liking the Meta Instinct. The Essence is one that I'm having in the bag. Really good for those easy hyzer flips. You know, I really have to tone this down to like even have it fly, otherwise it's too flippy. But really good in the woods for hyzer flips. And I've been trying to get better at rollers, and it's kind of hard to mess up a roller with an Essence. And then the newest fairway driver in the bag, one that I'm actually loving, is the Neo Splice. This isn't released yet, but this has been my FD3 replacement. It's got a little bit bigger rim. I don't think it goes as far as the FD3, but it wants to get down to the ground, and it's overstable, which is kind of all I threw the FD3 for. So this thing is amazing, feels great, plastic is great, so when these drop, keep an eye out. But yeah, really loving the new Splice.
I guess moving on to the drivers. I have several drivers in the bag right now. I guess we'll start off with the Discmania version because we don't know how long I'll be able to throw it. I have the Colton Montgomery Lone Howl 1. You can barely even see the stamp anymore. This thing has been in both of our bags several times, and it's been staying in mine because it's beat to crap. So it's a lot straighter than the ones that he throws. I love these for flex forehands. I can trust it. I know I can hit it hard. And this one actually goes pretty straight for me, surprisingly, for being a PD. And then it has an overstable finish at the end. I love the S-Line plastic. They came out super swirly. This guy's not so swirly anymore, but love this Lone Howl 1. And then I actually have 2 Emperors in the bag at this current moment. One that is super understable. This is actually the first Emperor they gave me to test out before I even chose it as my signature series disc in 2020, I believe. So it's very understable. This run, just for some reason, just is a lot straighter than my run. And then I have my 2021 Signature Series iBlend Emperor. More pop-toppy than the first version and definitely more overstable, so I can hit this thing hard. It has more glide than a Destroyer would. That's definitely why I chose it as my Signature Series disc, and it has that wide 12-speed rim. But yeah, a lot of people have been digging these. Hopefully they get back in stock soon before the end of the year, but thank you all to those who have bought one. I appreciate the support. And then I have a star turn in the bag. This guy is actually kind of a freak. It's pretty overstable for a star turn. I feel like sometimes I throw it and I'm like expecting it to flip up and it doesn't, so pretty reliable for a star turn, not too touchy. I like it because it actually gets a little bit more flip than my Star Emperor would. And lastly, my Destroyers. I actually got this one from Mike here at the Sanctuary. It's a 162 Ricky Destroyer, and I felt it first thing and I'm like, dang, like I think this thing's gonna bomb, and I threw it all day out here. It was super reliable, surprisingly, for a 162. I hit it hard even over the lake thinking, oh gosh, it might flip up. No, this thing came back, so it got the distance and then it had that reliable fade at the end. And then lastly, my most overstable disc in the bag right now, surprisingly, my last Star Destroyer. Pretty pop top, beautiful swirls, and team stamps, so that's even better with both of our stamps on it. But very overstable, definitely my wind disc. So if I have a headwind, I need something I don't want to turn over, I'm grabbing this guy.
Is that all your discs?
That's all my discs.
All right, well, I have way more, I guess, distance drivers and stuff
Oh gosh.
than her.
Oh god.
So,
I didn't even realize.
let's get into it. Lone Howls, you know, I don't honestly even bag the OG Lone Howl anymore because they're they're like gold. I don't want to throw them and I don't want to lose them because I'll never get them back. So I've got some Lone Howl 2s. The lore one, I don't know if their dye has added some extra beef to it, but this thing is really overstable. This is more the Lone Howl that's like my all-the-time thrower, super straight, can get some turn out of it, and yeah, it's pretty beat up. But Lone Howl 2, forehand, backhand, my workhorse disc, and I love them. I'm gonna be sad to not have the OG PD, but I look forward to seeing what Discmania makes. Next, couple different things. A new addition to the bag. I lost a Neo method out here or Neo Enigma on the course yesterday. So Mike was nice enough to hook me up with a forged method from the 2019.
Method forged.
I keep saying
You just
method.
said, like,
Forged Enigma that's from the European Open 2019. And I was throwing this thing all over the course yesterday. I think the Enigma is going to be something really good for me forehand since I don't have a ton of power. Recently added the Majesty to the bag. The first runs that I threw were pretty flat and they were like shrike-ish, pretty flippy. These new ones have dome to them and they're like almost like a DD3. Pretty overstable. So I'm kind of like experimenting with this out here, but so far liking the Majesty. Next, I've got 3 DD3s. One of my favorite lures. Super beat up, nice hyzer flip disc or sidearm disc. The newest one to the bag, this one's super pop top, a little bit more overstable, has a ton of glide for a DD3 and just goes. And then has the awesome cardinal that Kona drew on it.
That's a
Throwback. And then the last DD3, shout out to Manny Trujillo for the Sea Monty Seahorse. These DD3s came out just feeling a little bit different, and I was throwing this thing all over in Utah for the World Championships. Just really good run of DD3. And then lastly, I've got 3 PD2s. Sea-Line PD2, this is a newer one. Doesn't really even fly like a PD2. It's kind of like a DD3, just I can throw it on a hyzer and it'll stand up to flip over. Then I've got the throwback Santa Claus PD2. This one's middle of the road, kind of overstable, but can still get some good distance out of it. And then last, the Luster PD2. This thing's just an absolute workhorse. Haven't really come to a wind that's flipped this thing over. So yeah, that's those are the distance drivers in my bag. Actually, I think I've got one more, one of the most important discs in my bag, and I think Kona. We've been on an amazing journey these last 3 years, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. I mean, everything that we've been through, and I don't really know what else to say.
You're such a butt. I had no idea. Jeez.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what else to say. I got caught up, I got stumbled up in my words.
I was like, what do you mean those are all your drivers?
Jeffy designed it, Kyle stamped it, Denise and the whole family was a part of it.
Really?